welcome home. There is in this place the possibility of healing, of repair, of making things right within ourselves, between us and the wider world. We gather around this light of hope as we share this time together. Amen, Ashe, and may it be so.
Thank you, Ashanti, and good morning, everyone. On this beautiful, sunshiny January day, we have just a few announcements to share before we begin. But this morning, we are going to be talking about Kwanzaa, but next Sunday, January 11th, we get a twofer with our very own Ashanti. She's going to be sharing the story of Dr. Emmanuel Bronner. From tragedy to all in one, he makes all sorts of home products that you may have used over the decades. And Ashanti's going to be sharing a little bit of his story. Ashanti, do you want to give us like a teaser or two? You're muted.
Yes. So, like you said, yes, his products are world renowned, and they've been here for about, I don't know, 60, 70 years. He's the third generation. He's an amazing person. I found out more about him, and I would love to share his story with you. He's very so much on Wedgewood ideology of thinking.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm really excited and looking forward to hearing all about him because I don't really know much about him.
Well, we're
So
going to
thank you,
find out.
Ashanti.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And then the following Sunday is MLK Sunday. We are going to be watching a video of one of Dr. King's sermons. I heard the voice of Jesus, and then we will be having a discussion afterwards. So please join us. We've got some really good stuff coming up this month. And reminder, we have the GoFundMe. Our neighbors still need our help. We are raising funds for the community that has been impacted by the recent ICE and Border Patrol raids. More information and the link can be found on our website, our social media, and in our newsletter. But we are still raising funds, so please give and support as you can. Thank you very much. And welcome everyone to Wedgewood, the first Sunday back in 2026. I don't know about you all, but I, for one, am really looking forward to a new year. I know 2025 was full of trials and some challenges, but there were also some moments of joy. But I am very happy to start this new year with everyone here at Wedgewood. We've got a lot of really great things coming at Wedgewood, and I know that everyone is really fired up for the hope that 2026 is bringing. So welcome. Thank you for joining us on this first Sunday of the year, and welcome to Wedgewood. Welcome to a community that works for peace, justice, equality, and the care of Mother Earth.
We are all welcome here.
An extravagant welcome to you because of your gender identification, sexual orientation, ethnicity, economic situation, physical and mental challenges, doubting or believing, being depressed or full of joy.
We are all welcome here.
We are a community of curious and creative spiritual seekers, striving to learn from and embody the way of Jesus and other spiritual leaders.
We are all welcome here.
We focus on the plundered and the marginalized as we try to address the major issues of our day.
We are all welcome here.
You are invited to share your passion, your inspiration, and your personal story as one of the ways to help heal the world.
We are all welcome here.
Yes, we certainly are all welcome here. And thank you all for joining us, those of you who are joining us live on Zoom and those of you who are watching later on. We are truly all welcome here, and you are all welcome here too. Now, we have come now to our time of meditation, reflection, and prayer. There is so much going on in the world and so much that has happened over the last year, but also recently. We want to lift up those who are suffering in the United States at the hands of oppressive regimes. And actions of repressive regimes, like thinking of the people in Nigeria and the people of Venezuela and the Sudan and Palestine and um, the immigrant community as well. So many uh, things we want to lift up. Does anybody want to share or have any thoughts on folks we want to or communities we want to lift up briefly, just to lay on our hearts?
Lift up the world.
Yeah, just lift up the whole world. So let's all take a moment. Venezuela, yes, so much has happened. Take a moment as you feel so moved, whether you pray, you meditate, talk to the universe, however you feel so moved. Let's take a moment to reflect on all of the concerns, both said and unsaid today. Amen.
Amen. Ashe.
Well, it is my privilege to introduce our very own Ashanti Munir sharing her message, The Seven Principles of Kwanzaa.
Thank you, Liz. And as you said earlier, there is a lot going on in the world. We're just going to take a moment from the reality of what's going on in the world and celebrate Kwanzaa and perhaps learn something from the Nguzo Saba we can take with us throughout the year. But first of all, I'd like to say Happy New Year, and it's a blessing that we're all here together. Today we're celebrating Kwanzaa. That song was really, uplifting. That was a good feeling song by Teddy Pendergrass. Today we are celebrating Kwanzaa, particularly focusing on its seven principles, known as the Nguzo Saba. At the beginning of a new year, most people think about making changes in their lives, setting resolutions, creating new goals, and looking for ways to grow. Well, Kwanzaa offers us a beautiful framework for this kind of reflection. Rather than focusing only on individual achievement, the seven principles of Kwanzaa guide us toward both personal growth and community strength. These principles were carefully chosen to honor African heritage and values while providing practical guidance for building stronger families and communities. Each principle represents a different aspect of how we can live more purposefully and contribute to the world around us. So let's explore the principles that can help us better ourselves and our communities in the year ahead. First, I'd like to focus on the Kwanzaa table. We were trying to get it focused in, but somehow the computer is just focusing on me, it seems like. But I'm going to explain the Kwanzaa table in just a little bit. But I'm sorry you can't see it. But if you look at Shay's profile, you can see a very nice, clear picture of that. So Kwanzaa is an African American celebration, a celebration of life that begins December 26th through January 1st. Born out of the Black Power movement of the 1960s and founded in 1966 in the United States by an activist, educator, and chairman of Africana Studies at California State University, Dr. Malana Karenga. He created this holiday in response to the Watts riots in Los Angeles in 1965 as a way to bring African Americans together as a community. Dr. Karenga researched African harvest celebrations and combined aspects of several different festivals, such as those from the Ashanti and Zulu tribes, to form the Kwanzaa Foundation. It was also formed as a way to empower people of the darker hue to rediscover their African heritage. A festival to welcome the first harvest, a celebration to, one could say, a reaffirmation. The name Kwanzaa is derived from the phrase Matunda ya Kwanzaa, which means first fruits in Swahili, the common tongue of the Great Lake regions of East Africa and one of the most widely spoken languages in Africa. The concepts and the symbols of Kwanzaa derive from traditions and practices found throughout Africa and the African diaspora. Each family celebrates Kwanzaa in its own way, but celebrations often include song and dance and drumming and storytelling and poetry reading and a large meal on the final day, which is called the karamu. So this is where I want to show you the table. And you might not be able to see everything, but I can tell you real quickly about it before I get into the 7 principles. And so the table consists of the makeka, which is a mat. And you know, a mat made by woven material, which gives the symbolism of that we are all interconnected together. And this is the foundation of family. So that is the makeka, the mat. And on top of the makeka is a bowl of fruit, which is celebrating the harvest, the first fruit. And then we also have, can you still hear me if I turn away?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we also have the mazao, which is, like I said, is the crops, celebrating the first fruits. It represents the historical foundation of Kwanzaa and the gathering of people that is patterned after the African harvest festival, which is joy, sharing, unity, and thanksgiving. Since the family is the basic social and economic center of every civilization, this celebrates, reaffirms the commitment and responsibility to each other. And then we have the vimbuzi, the ear of corn. And this represents the children. You would have an ear of corn for each child in the family. And if there are no children in the family, then you will have the number of corns of children hopeful to come. And we all know that the children are the foundation of bringing our families together and making the families grow. So that is the vimbuzi. It represents fertility and reproduction of the children. And the next one is the Kikombo Chao Umoja, which is the unity cup. And this is used at the last day of Kwanzaa where they have their feast. And this unity cup is usually have libation in it and passed around from the eldest to the youngest to represent family. It's a special cup that is used for the libation during the karamu, the last day of the Kwanzaa celebration. And the next one is the zawadi. Here I have a book and I have a drum here, a djembe, and we have jewelry that is handmade. Everything is thoughtful and handmade, not something that's made in this store. So things that are thoughtful, books, knowledge, handmade jewelry, material, things of that nature. We celebrate that and represent the zawadi, which are the gifts. And after that, we have the kinara, which is the candle holder, and which is the candles are called the mashumba. And you would light the first candle, which is the black candle in the middle on the first day of Kwanzaa on the 26th, which represent unity. And each day after that, you will go to the red and then to the green and then to the red and then to the green. And during the celebration, we will light all of the candles so we have illumination and light for the future. So that is our beautiful table. And then we have a star here that is red, black, and green that Tom made. Tom makes these stars here. So I added that to the table as well. So now let's get into the Nguzo Saba. Seven Principles of Kwanzaa, a spiritual foundation for 2026. We already explained what Kwanzaa is. And we already explained the table and all of that. So now we're here at the seven principles, Umoja. The second one is Kuji Chagalia, where Kuji is named after. And the third one is Ujima. The fourth one is Ujama or Ujama. And the fifth one is Nia. And the sixth one is Kuumba. And the seventh one is Imani. So the first one, Umoja, unity, to strive for and to maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. So the spiritual foundation for Kwanzaa is unity reflects the African concept of Ubuntu, which means I am because we are. Let me close this. I am because we are. It recognizes that we are interconnected spiritually and our individual well-being is tied to a collective well-being. Some of the things that you could do in 2026 with the Umoja and Nguzo Saba is starting family meetings or community circles. Sometimes we need to start family meetings because there's rift in the family sometimes, and some people may not be talking to a family member because of something that may have happened years ago. So we need to break those walls down and stop having meetings and come together and talk and communicate with one another. Bridge generational divides. Create spaces for dialogue across differences. Support local initiatives. Those are some of the things you could do or work with or work on or be mindful of with the principle of unity, Umoja. On a universal application, we could do in a workplace, maybe foster team cohesion, join neighborhood groups, engage in civic unity efforts, support humanitarian causes. That is Umoja, unity. And the second principle is Kuji Chagulia. As I mentioned earlier, Kuji is named after Kuji Chagalia, which means self-determination, to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. Self-determination is about reclaiming your authentic spiritual identity. It's the courage to define your own path, reject limited narratives, and trust your own inner wisdom. Kuji Chagalia. Some of the things that we could do with Kuji Chagalia principle for 2026 is name your vision. Write your personal mission statement for 2026. What is it that you want to accomplish? What is it that you're passionate about? What is it that you want to write about? Claim your story. Journal your own heritage and identity. I do this a lot. To know who you are, to find out who you are, to study yourself. Set boundaries, which is very, very important. Practice saying no to what doesn't serve you. And it's okay to say no. It's a complete sentence. No, I'm not able. No, I rather not. No, and it's okay to say no and set boundaries. Voice your truth. Speak up in spaces where you've been silent. This also is very important. You can't be silent and stand up for yourself or anything. You have to have a foundation to stand on. Speak up for yourself. Use your voice, your truth. And own your education. Pursue learning that reflects your interests and values. Kuji Chagalia, self-determination. Self-determination empowers all people to resist stereotypes, define success on your own terms, pursue authentic career paths, and build lives aligned with their values rather than external expectations. Kuji Chagalia. The next one is Ujima, which is collective work and responsibility to build and maintain our communities together and make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and to solve them together. Ujima recognizes that individual liberation is bound to collective liberation. When one person suffers, we all suffer, and we all know that. And when we lift others, we lift and rise ourselves. We come together. This is spiritual interconnectedness. Ujima. I really like Ujima. Collective work and responsibility. And some of the ways that we could use Ujima in 2026 is volunteer in your community, mentor a younger person, participate in community cleanups. I really like doing this one, community cleanups, and join mutual aid networks, support struggling neighbors. And we know here at Wedgewood, we do all of these, all of these community network, mentoring younger people, helping out the younger people, participating in cleanups, network, struggling neighbors. We do all of that here at Wedgewood. Ujima. Ujima. Ujima recognized that individual libation is a collective liberation. When one person suffers, we all suffer. In daily life, what we can do with Ujima, we check on our elderly neighbors. We can organize neighborhood watch. We can share skills and resources, collective child care support, community gardens. These are all just examples of how you can use this principle in 2026. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. And the next one is Ujama or Ujama, cooperative economics. To build and maintain our own stores and shops and businesses and to profit from them together. Ujama is about economic self-sufficiency as a spiritual act. When we support each other economically, we honor the dignity of our labor and create freedom for our communities. Ujama. The ways that we can use this principle in 2026 is to buy black or to buy local, the mom and pop stores, the local stores. Commit to shopping at black-owned or the local businesses. Bank locally. Use credit unions or community-developed financial institutions. Start a business. Turn your skills into entrepreneurships. Investment clubs. Trades and services within your community. And join or create cooperative businesses. This is Ujama, cooperative economics. Cooperative economics benefits all communities facing economic marginalization. It builds wealth that stays local, creates jobs, and reduces dependence on exploitative systems. Ujama. The next one is Nia. Nia is purpose. Purpose. To make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. Nia is about discovering your divine purpose, the unique contribution you are placed on earth to make. It's aligning your daily actions with your highest calling and serving something greater than yourself. Nia, purpose. We do a lot of this here at Wedgewood as well. Finding our greatness and going out into the world and giving it to the people that need it the most. Finding your purpose. What breaks your heart? What brings you joy? What are you naturally good at? What would you do if money didn't matter? Who would you want to serve? These are all rhetorical questions, but something that you could think about, something to ponder. I think about these things often. What brings you joy? That's a big one. What are you naturally good at? And this one here, what would you do if money didn't matter? Who would you want to serve? Living purposefully with Nia is align careers with values, create legacy projects, teach and mentor, document family history, serve your community in whatever way you feel is good for your soul. Your purpose is not just about you. It's about the healing and building you bring to the world. That's why when you find your joy, you find what breaks your heart, who you find out who you want to work with and what you need to do in the community, what moves you. Something to ponder. And then the sixth one is kuumba. Kuumba. Creativity. To do always as much as we can in the best way that we can in order to leave our communities more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it. Creativity is a divine gift, the ability to bring something new into existence. When we create, we participate in ongoing creation of the universe. Our creativity is our spiritual legacy. You can have artistic expression, paint, draw, craft, sing, dance, knit, whatever that is, writing, poetry, to tell your stories. Like we had Shane Munir was one of our guest speakers, and she was taught to children that were troubled how to write their stories down through poetry and how they could heal themselves through the poetry. Music, dance, express yourself through rhythm. Music and dance is spiritual. You know, listening to music is spiritual. However you feel, you have that creativity in your soul, use that to change the world. And practicing Kuumba in 2026, make something with your hands each week. I don't know. It could be bread. It could be a blanket. It could be jewelry. Beautify your spaces, plant gardens, paint murals, create public art. Problem solving. Use creativity to address community challenges. Cultural preservation. Learn and teach traditional arts. And develop new approaches to old problems. Kuumba, creativity. And the last one, but not the least, Imani, faith. To believe with all your heart in our people, in our parents, in our teachers, in our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. Imani is about having deep faith, believing in something greater than ourselves, trusting in our community, and maintaining hope even when their times are difficult or looks like things are not looking so great and so dire. It's the spiritual anchor that sustains us. And we're going to need a lot of faith in 2026 and beyond, because what we see is not always what we need to be focusing on. Not saying that we shouldn't be focused on things that are important, but to also have the faith to walk by faith and not by sight. So we're going to need a lot of faith in 2026 to keep moving forward and to find some positive reinforcement. Trust your journey for 2026 and believe in your abilities. Maintain hope that positive change is possible. Believe in the goodness and the potential of your community and your people. Practice daily gratitude and spiritual reflections, which is very, very, very important, especially when times are so difficult and one problem after another keeps coming at us. We're going to have to find a way to practice gratitude and spiritual reflection. Even though there are bad things that happen, we have to be grateful in some ways because there's a lot of good that we are experiencing as well, a lot of blessings. Stay committed to your values, even when it's challenging. Have faith that your efforts matter and that creates ripple of change. I think Liz has said that one time, that a small something about, you said, Liz, something about the one drop in the bucket or something about that. But the same effect, that to know that your matters change and that it creates ripple effect by you doing your part. Faith is taking the first step even when you can't see the whole staircase. And that's a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King. When we have faith, We become more resilient, more hopeful, more capable of uplifting others. Faith connects us to something bigger and reminds us that we're never alone in our struggles, although it does seem like it is sometimes. But we're not. It's a test of your foundation of faith. So now, that's all of the seven principles, the Nguzo Saba. And this is how all the seven principles work together. The seven principles are not isolated values. They're all together, just like the mat, the makeka. They form an integrated spiritual and practical framework for living. So all of these, if you can see them, umoja, unity creates the foundation of collective action. Kujichagulia, self-determination, empowers us to define our collective direction. Ujima, collective work, channels our united efforts. Ujama, cooperative economics, provides resource of sustainability. Nia gives meaning and direction to our work. And Kuumba, creativity, enables us to build something beautiful. And Imani, faith, sustains us through challenges and keeps us moving forward. We have to move forward. That is one of the laws of creation. You have to continuously move forward, not backwards. So the spiritual synergy of all the principles, when practiced together, these principles create a powerful spiritual ecosystem where each value reinforces the others, creating sustainable transformation in individuals and communities. So here in the Nguzo Saba, rooted in the philosophy, these principles offer wisdom for anyone seeking to build strong, purposeful, connected lives through families, in social movements, in workplaces, and in our communities. So I want you to find out which principle that resonates with you for 2026. It could be all of them, but this is just an example that I came up with as we enter into the new year. Commit to embodying these principles in concrete ways. Sometimes you might say, well, I can't get them all done. Well, how can I do this or how can I do that? Well, you could just do a little bit at a time. I like to break it down just a little bit at a time because people get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed as well. So in January, you could start with umoja, host a unity gathering, or reach out and repair relationships, which is a very important one with families. And maybe in February, Kuji Chakali, you can write your 2026 vision statement and claim your narrative. And then maybe in March, you can start or join a community project. In April, you can shift spending from local to minority businesses, maybe 50% of that. And for May, define your purpose and align your work with your values. In June, create something beautiful. July, establish something spiritual on a daily basis. These are just examples to give you a start of what you could use, how you could use these Nguzo Saba throughout the year of 2026. Each month, you can focus deeply on one principle. And by the year's end, you'll have lived all seven principles and transformed your life and your community and your mindset as well. So make up your personal plan for 2026, and we can take it from there. Choose your focus, which principle resonates with you, which feels most challenging, which one is most impact your community. Set some goals, daily or weekly, on what you want to do on your action plan. So there we have it, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may want to find out more about. Any questions about the table or about the Nguzo Saba, about the celebration?
Yeah, I have a question. Thank you so much for sharing about this the more and more I learn about Kwanzaa, the more it just really speaks to me. So I wanted to ask you from a personal perspective, what does Kwanzaa mean to you?
Kwanzaa means the connection with our past from Africa, and how we are connected with Africa. What part of Africa? Usually, it's the east coast of Africa. So it's the connection with the celebrations, their way of life, their mindset, and how they came up with the seven principles. I like the seven principles. I adore the seven principles because it's a foundation that we haven't heard of, or it doesn't work into the United States, learning and in school. And the Nguzo Saba for me personally teaches the kids. I've been doing Kwanzaa for a long time, but it also teaches the kids who they are and where they come from and how important you are and how spiritual you are and how needed you are and how beautiful you are. And because here in the United States, people of color are made to feel that we have nothing, we are nothing, we have no history, we don't have a language, we come from nothing, we were only slaves, and that is not true. So this gives an opportunity to show the children or the younger generation that you are somebody, you are a beautiful people, and this is why you are, and this is where you came from. And here is some of the festivals or some of the foundations that you could incorporate into your life, even though you're not on the motherland. So I don't know if that answered the question, but it means a lot to me to help the children understand who they are and how special they are, because the world shows them that there's something that is not authentic or not real.
Yeah. And
So
I love that it addresses both your internal spirituality and your own internal, like your personal path, but also it grows out into community. It shows the interconnectedness. I love that.
that's the part I like, the interconnectedness. And I also wanted to mention that some of the Kwanzaa principles, Dr. Emmanuel Bronner has incorporated. He probably didn't know that they're part of the seven principles, but his mindset is part of the seven principles and how he thought of people as one, and that if I'm not doing well, then you're not doing well, and that we all need to be as one. So we'll talk about that next week. But as I was learning about his story, he has some of the Nguzo Saba in his mindset as well. So I hope that answered your question.
I did. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any other questions or anything they want to share, or give an example on how they would use one or more of the Nguzo Saba throughout the year, or if anything has resonated with you, or if you learned something that you did not know about and it resonated
Ashanti,
with you? Yes.
Ashanti, how do your grandchildren respond to this?
To, to the Kwanzaa? Oh, they participate every year. I mean, they've been participated in Kwanzaa at Wedgewood. They participate in Kwanzaa here, and I have a Kwanzaa at my home sometimes. In Boston, I had Kwanzaa every year, so they're involved a lot, and they understand it, and they're excited to participate, set up the table and everything like that. So they respond very well.
I remember a
Very
few
nice
years
job.
ago.
Shanti, I appreciate you sharing this today. One of the things that made me curious was exactly how many people, African Americans and other people, celebrate Kwanzaa. So I looked it up, and it said something around 20 million people celebrate Kwanzaa. And I thought that was pretty interesting. Thank you
Yeah.
for bringing that up.
Yeah, you're
I
welcome. Yeah.
I like that you named your dog Kuji after one of the principles of Kwanzaa.
Yeah. When I get angry with them, I said, Koji Chagalia, you get over here.
Not his full government name.
And he looks like, yeah. Well, you're welcome, Reggie. And I am I've been doing Kwanzaa I think since Kiara was maybe 8 years old, and she's now 35. So
Yeah.
that's how long the Kwanzaa. And also, I wanted to mention, or if I did mention, that Kwanzaa is not a religious holiday. There's nothing religious about it. It's a spiritual presentation, a spiritual foundation. So you can celebrate Christmas if you like, and you can do Kwanzaa if you like, or you can do one or the other. You can do them both together. So it's no There's no certain way to celebrate. There's no religious connection to it. It's just spiritual and
Yeah.
community and unity. It's basically unity. The first candle that is lit in the middle is umoja, unity. That's the foundation of Kwanzaa and the Nguzo Saba. Unity, working together as a community, as a people, as a family,
Yeah.
integrated, and as well as spiritually too. We need that spiritual foundation as well. So yeah.
I like one of the suggested one of the suggested ways you could celebrate was to target small businesses in your community.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I'm just getting over this cold.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Target small businesses in your community, whether that be the Latino community or Black community, but to do that on a special day, special time. So I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's
I'm always talking about apps. So there is an app called BLAP,
oh, is that right?
BLAPP, that specifically, no matter what city or state that you're in, if you just put in the town that you're in, it will give you all small businesses, Black-owned small businesses in that town.
Okay, that's
Charlotte,
great.
they'll give you bookstores, coffee shops, and the same for there's another one called the Internationalist, I think, and that one is like for Latino businesses, any small Latino business in your town. So
That's
ways
great. Those
that you
sound
can celebrate.
Reggie,
that's
what's the second one called?
I think it's
Have-
called Internationalist
that is a great way of doing because
or
you don't. There's so many
or
businesses.
Chamba or Internationalist. Those are two apps that you can put on your phone. And so if you're in any town, anywhere, and you want to say, hey, I want to celebrate a small business or I want to shop at a small business.
Yeah,
Just check
those are
it out.
great to know. Well, I can include those in this coming newsletter. I can include
Yeah.
them as part of the call
Yeah,
to
I was
action.
just thinking
That's
of that.
great.
I was just thinking of that, Liz, to get some because he's telling me, but I'm not going to remember them. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great because there's a lot of businesses here in Charlotte. Charlotte is very big, and I don't know where all of them. I don't know where all the restaurants are. I go on the Instagram, they show you little reels of the restaurants that are here. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Are there any other questions or suggestions, or did you enjoy it? Not too much talking.
I know I loved it. Thank you, Ashanti. And I remember one of my fondest Kwanzaa memories is a few years ago back at the Enclave. You hosted the Kwanzaa celebration. There was a fashion show, and you had the table, and
That was a
you
really
just
nice one.
you
And we
did
had
such a great job.
the poetry. The guy came for the poetry. JC came for poetry, and we had the
Yeah,
dancers, and that was a really good one.
it really was.
Yeah, and the fashion show. That was really good. Yeah, I
Yeah.
enjoyed that one. We had a beautiful table. That was a beautiful table. We had pumpkins on it and everything. It was beautiful.
Mhm.
So that is Kwanzaa and the Nguzo Saba, and I hope that you all can resonate with some of that and take some of this and go out into the world, as we always say, go out into the world in which we live in, and share our abilities and our ideas and creativity and our strength and cooperative economics and all of that. So again, it's not just for it's a holiday that ends on January 1st, but the principles and the foundation can go to every part of your life or every day of your life for 2026. Yeah, so that concludes my presentation. Sorry I
Thank you
couldn't.
very much.
You're welcome. You're
It was
welcome,
beautiful.
Tom.
It was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate you. So, well, the call to action, you already know, we already talked about it. You take one of these 7 principles, or all the 7 principles, take one a month and do what you do. Use your talent, use your mind, use your special skills, and go out into the community and improve yourself and improve the world around you. The closing prayer I have is, as we stand at this threshold of the new year, we give thanks for wisdom of the Nguzo Saba and the guidance these principles offers us. May we carry these 7 principles in our hearts, not just as words, but as living practices that shape how we treat one another and how we strengthen our communities. Let us be mindful of our blessings and the gift of community, the power we have to uplift one another, and the opportunity to create positive change. May this new year bring us closer together as people, united in purpose and spirit. In unity and faith, we move forward together. Ashe and amen. We extinguish this flame, but we keep the light in our hearts. As we share this message of love and justice, taken outside of these walls that we mentioned earlier, until the world we live in, until we see each other again. Amen. Ashe, and may it be so. Now go in peace.